Maiduguri residents lament fuel price, transport fare hike amid economic action. Bandits kill driver, abduct 2 on Abuja-Kaduna highway. Court fixes May 16th to rule on means of service for Ganduje, others in alleged corruption trial. On the foreign scene, Hamas gets 40-day ceasefire offer amid airstrikes on Rafah by Israel. Hello, welcome to Trust News Update. I am Lilian Ogazi. Now to the news in details. The present scarcity and subsequent increase in the price of petrol has tripled transportation fares in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The situation has worsened by black marketers who are experiencing high patronage from motorists and tricycle riders who have no choice but to rely on them for continuous operation. Trust TV's Beatrice Kurutsi reports.
The scarcity of fuel is spreading like wildfire within the Maiduguri metropolis, with motorists and tricycles spending hours at the few stations that have the product. Despite the unavailability of the product to motorists and other operators, black marketers who always have the product are taking advantage of the scarcity to sell a litre, which is usually a little over 600 naira at 1,200 naira, while a gallon now goes for as much as 5,000 naira. A litre of fuel cost 1,100 naira, but yesterday we sold it at 1,200 naira, and people still patronize us. As for a gallon, we sell it at 5,000 naira. Before now, we sold a litre at 750 naira, but we don't know why the price shot up. As at now, we buy at the rate of 950 naira in some filling stations. Although customers are complaining of the price increase, we are still being patronized because the filling stations don't have fuel.
Fasinja da kake ga da roƙon Allah da komai suke fita anguwa 150 ma ba sa iya biya. Yan acaɓan ma rabi da kwata sun faka mashinan su. Dole a dinga shan wahalan mashin.
Passengers are not agreeing to pay the 200 naira we charge. So more than half of the riders have parked their tricycles because of the hike in the price of fuel. Government should do something about it.
Yeah, most of the filling stations in this town doesn't have fuel. Some have, but do sell it at a high rate. Most especially, they do sell it for us at 1,000 naira per litre. And it is in this critical condition of the situation of the country, it is very hard for us to increase the price of our transportation.
The situation has affected intra-city shuttles as transportation fares have accordingly been jacked up. Some residents who said a drop now cost 200 naira are calling on the government to take immediate action to address the situation.
Honestly speaking, I paid 250 naira from 1,000 to post office. I have to bargain. You know how the country is. At least they should subsidize. At least there should be a subsidy in that petrol aspect that they removed, and that is affecting the masses. At least the masses can benefit directly from it, especially when it comes to transport. And that is it. Or maybe bring another alternative way of transport, just the way the state government have did. So the federal government can also play their part by providing mass transit for masses.
There are unverified reports that the fuel scarcity may last for 2 weeks, leaving many residents praying that the shortage be addressed soon so they won't be exposed to further sufferings. Beatrice Kurutsi, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Meanwhile, the National Association of Nigerian Students has threatened to embark on a mass action if the federal government fails to take immediate steps to address the current fuel scarcity in the country. The students' body also asked the group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corp Limited, Melekiare, to resign if he cannot take decisive actions to resolve the fuel crisis. The association's Senate President Babatunde Akinteye, in a statement on Monday, lamented that the fuel scarcity has left many citizens, including students, frustrated and helpless. The NAN's Senate President lamented that students are now facing unprecedented challenges as a result of the increase in pump prices and the scarcity of the product. While demanding immediate action from the NNPCL to resolve the fuel crisis and restore stability, Babatunde said the students would hit the streets in protest if the situation persisted. The NAN's leader stated that NNPCL must improve infrastructure and logistics to ensure the efficient distribution of fuel across the country, saying bottlenecks and inefficiencies in the supply chains must be addressed promptly. Bandits have shot dead a driver simply identified as Danladi Jobe and stole 1 million naira cash while abducting 2 others along the Abuja-Kaduna highway. A resident of Jere, Yahuza Al-Hassan, who confirmed the incident on Monday, said it happened around 9:33 p.m. at Dogong File, few kilometers away from Jere town. He said the deceased was returning from neighboring village market where he conveyed bags of pepper alongside the owner to sell, in which he said the bandits suddenly emerged from the bush and opened fire on the car, killing the driver instantly. Al-Hassan, who also identified one of the victims as Shribu, whom he said is a farmer, was whisked away alongside one other person after bandits took away 1 million naira cash from him. The spokesman of the Kaduna State Police Command, DSP Mansur Hassan, is yet to comment on the incident. Meanwhile, a suspected herdsman on Sunday evening reportedly attacked Nimbo community in Uzowani local government area of Edo State, killing at least 5 persons and wounding several others. According to the report, the suspected herders attacked mourners at Ugwojijoro Nimbo community, causing people to scamper for safety. Although the police are yet to issue any statement on the incident, villagers identified 5 bodies as victims of the dastardly act. Nimbo in Uzowani local government came into limelight in 2016 for similar incidents when herders attacked the community, killing scores and sacking the entire village. A Kano High Court sitting at Audubako has fixed May 16, 2024 to rule on means of service in the case of alleged corruption involving the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, and 7 others. The court, presided over by Justice Usman Malam Naaba, reserved a date after a heated argument between the parties involved. Ganduje's wife, son and 6 others were billed to be arraigned on an 8-count charge bordering on bribery, diversion and misappropriation of funds, amongst others. Aside from Ganduje and family members, other parties in the suit are Jibril Mohammed, Lamash Properties Limited, Safari Textile Limited and Lesage General Enterprise. Kano State government, in the criminal suit filed against the respondent, said it has assembled 15 witnesses to testify against them. At the resumed hearing on Monday, the prosecution counsel Adeola Adedipe said a criminal charge can be effected by substituted means. However, in his submission, counsel to the 6th respondent, Nuremi Jimo, objected that attempt by the prosecution to serve the defendant through substituted means cannot hold water, as such should be discountenanced. In his crown counter reaction, the prosecution counsel said the argument of the defense counsel is premature and preemptive.
The court invited the council to address it on whether the court can issue an order for substituted service in criminal trials. And both council addressed the court, one is supporting while the other is not supporting.
We realized as 6th defendants that the application served on us was not as directed by the court. What was served on us as 6th defendants was a motion or notice for substitute service. So now the argument was taken in court today as to the propriety or otherwise of service of a charge on defendant by substitute means.
Still on legal matters, the Lagos High Court sitting in Ikeja has deferred till the end of trial its ruling on the application filed by the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, challenging the jurisdiction of the court to try him on the charges brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Through his lawyer Olalekan Ojosan, Emefiele submitted that he cannot be tried in the High Court of any state in Nigeria for alleged acts of abuse of his office, as this raises issue of constitutionality and legality. The former CBN governor also noted that counts 1 to 4 of the 26-count charge filed by the EFCC against him are unconstitutional as they are not contained in any law in Nigeria. His counsel asked the court to make an order striking out counts 1 to 4 of the charge on the grounds that EFCC, through its counsel Rotimi Oyedepo-San, however, countered these arguments. Citing decided cases of the Supreme Court, he asked the trial judge, Justice Raman Oshodi, not to defer or prevent the trial of the case on the basis of objections, challenging the particulars of the counts of the information. The governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, has approved a new minimum wage of 70,000 naira for civil servants in the state. The governor revealed this while commissioning the new labor house in Edo State on Monday. Now, according to him, the new wage comes into effect on May 1st, 2024. This is as the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC battles with the federal government over increasing the minimum wage to match increasing national inflation and skyrocketing food inflation. The inflation rate for March 2024 hit 33.2% from 31.70% in February. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, while food inflation also rose to 31.7% in March from 30% in February. The NLC and the Trade Union Congress had demanded 615,000 naira as a new minimum wage for workers in the country. The labor union's agreement was after President Bola Tinubu, through Vice President Kashim Shettima on January 30th, set up a 37-member panel at the council chamber of the State House in Abuja. People from various backgrounds across Nigeria are responding to the wave of looting incidents gripping the nation. In Owerri, the capital of Imo State, residents are voicing their discontent over the nefarious actions of certain political office holders who are exploiting the system. Trust TV's Ajibade Praise has the details in this report.
Undoubtedly, many public office holders in Nigeria, particularly those who are politically elected, benefit from a degree of immunity that shields them from scrutiny while in office. This immunity often emboldens them to engage in various forms of financial misappropriation and looting during their tenure. Unfortunately, they are often only held accountable after their terms in office has ended. Regrettably, these acts of looting, which amount to billions of dollars, euros and naira, have had a detrimental impact on the nation. Urgent action is required to prevent continuation of this negative trend.
Nobody is above the law when it comes to corrupt practices. It has to be reduced, no matter who they are, whether it be the president, whether it be the governor. They have to be checkmated while in office. They must give account. It happened in other countries, it should happen here.
The first thing is that every Nigerian should know that Nigeria is suffering as a result of this looting. Whether we like it or not, we are suffering a lot, and then we have it affecting every aspect of the economy. So I want a situation whereby this thing can be courted, can be worked on.
When they are still in the office, when they are, no matter what, no matter who you are, no matter the rank, no matter the office you are occupying, they let justice be passed at that moment once the person first the law, because nobody is above the law.
Nigerians are calling for a robust mechanism to be established to tackle corrupt practices and prevent public office holders from plundering the nation's wealth. They believe that politicians should not be shielded by their parties if found guilty of corruption.
If I'm in a PDP or APC and someone also in APC is looting Nigerians' money, stealing, why should we keep quiet simply because he's from the same party? And it's really affecting. And one evil done in APC gets down to the whole party, everything, the party will be known as a corrupt party or a stealing party, simply because of one person, what the one person does. So all these things should be put in place. Whoever that is responsible for this should pay the necessary price that needed to be paid.
There needs to be a system whereby we can checkmate these people while they are in power. They need to be, though I commend the EFCC, but there should be something that will checkmate them before they leave office so that they can be accountable to our money and all these things that they are doing. Not after they've left the office we begin to hear such things, and it's really affecting the country, affecting the economy.
The public strongly opposes the practice of politicians switching parties to evade scrutiny after committing fraud. They believe that such behavior should be vehemently discouraged. Furthermore, they assert that regardless of their status, any political office holder implicated in corruption must face legal consequences. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
This is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, relief for Katsina residents, the state government begins construction of drainages. More news when we return Tuesday. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is news updates on Trust TV. Let's take a quick look at our headlines again. Maiduguri residents lament fuel price, transport fare hikes amid economic hardship. Bandits kill driver and abduct 2 on Abuja-Kaduna highway. Now moving on, the Senate has commenced an investigative hearing on the increase in the electricity tariff in 11 states in Nigeria. The ongoing meeting at the Senate wing of the National Assembly on Monday, the Red Chamber, also stated that it would punish anyone or agency found culpable of adding to the burden and sufferings of Nigerians. Last week, the Senate, through its Committee on Power, had invited the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, and the heads of agencies under the ministry to an investigative hearing on the new electricity tariff. Speaking at the investigative hearing on Monday, the committee chairman stated that the investigative hearing was hinged on 2 motions presented at plenary on Tuesday, 25th July 2023 and Wednesday, 21st February 2024. Where the Senate, by its resolution, mandated the Committee on Power to engage with the Federal Ministry of Power, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, and other stakeholders. Abaribe also stated that the mandate of the committee was to find lasting solutions to the challenges facing the Nigerian electricity sector, including the need for sector reforms. He added that the committee is also to investigate the over 2 trillion naira subsidy requirement as stated by the Minister of Power to avoid the repeat of fuel subsidy scenario and the statements made by the minister with regard to the 1.3 trillion naira the ministry is owing generating companies and $1.3 billion owed to gas companies. Residents of Katsina State are heaving a sigh of relief following the construction of drainages that will help address the perennial flooding in the state. Now, in the past few years, flood disasters have claimed lives and properties annually as heavy rains wreak havoc across the state. But the narrative is about to change for good with the construction of the drainages, as Trust TV's Abdullah Yamadi reports from Katsina.
Residents who are hopeful that these projects will be completed before the 2024 rainy season set in said they can now sleep with their 2 eyes closed, bearing in mind how devastated floods have been in the state over the years. The flooding often comes with loss of lives and property in the Katsina city, resulting in displacement of many residents, especially those living along the high-risk communities of Kofar Marusa, Kofar Duribi, Kofar Sauri, Koramar Nelli, and Katsira. This project has rekindled hope in the minds of not only people around the high-risk areas, but residents of the ancient city as a whole, assuring government that the work will be fully protected against vandals. We thank this administration for this project, and I believe this is the first time I have seen a project that touches on the lives of Katsina residents directly. Many people lost their children, animals, and other valuables during flood disasters, which occurs almost every year.
Muke bin bakin titi muna kuwa mutanen cikin Katsira su hita da gudu.
This gigantic project, when completed, people living around the streams will have peace of mind. Flooding, which often becomes a yearly occurrence, will be history. I must appreciate the Environment Ministry and Governor Dikko Umaru Rada for executing the project. Katsina State Government, through the Commissioner of Environment, Musa Adamu Funtua, assured that the project, according to contractual agreement, is expected to be completed in the next couple of weeks. The Commissioner of Environment also said the flood control project was jointly funded by Katsina State Government, assuring that the water from the city will be harvested for irrigation, fish farming, and other purposes near Shinkafi village, a suburb of Katsina metropolis.
So as far as I'm concerned, this kind of a life project for the entire people. Let me tell you, the lifespan of the project is going to spend 45 years. The quality of the project. Okay. How many of all of them are about 50? so somehow we are 55, 53. So look at this. At the same time, I'm really happy. Today even I go around in collaboration with the Commissioner of Land and Survey. I see how the layman happy about the project. So being a privilege given to me as a supervising officer, I feel that to be in something good is good in life.
This initiative, when fully completed and implemented, will not only control the annual flooding devastating Katsina residents, but also provides job opportunities and food security for the state. Public commentators are asking the government to plant economic trees near the major drainages to control erosion, which will also beautify the affected areas. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
The Naira has demonstrated signs of strengthening against the United States dollar, appreciating by 125 Naira to reach 1,275 Naira to the dollar over the weekend. The new rate represents a 9.8% increase when compared to the 1,400 to a dollar it traded at the close of trading activity on Friday. This came as the Senate, through its Committee on Finance, called for concerted efforts by all relevant stakeholders to rescue and sustain its stability. The Senate said there was an urgent need for concerted efforts to tackle the instability and continuous depreciation of the Naira. Away from Nigeria, British Foreign Secretary David Cameron on Monday said Hamas has been offered a 40-day ceasefire and release of potentially thousands of Palestinian prisoners in return for freeing Israeli hostages. Cameron told the World Economic Forum meeting in Riyadh that he hopes Hamas takes the deal, adding that the proposal would lead to a stop in the fighting. A Hamas delegation is due in Egypt on Monday, where it is expected to respond to the latest proposal for a truce in Gaza and a release of hostages after almost 7 months of war. Egypt, Qatar, and the United States have been trying to mediate an agreement between Israel and Hamas for months, but a flurry of diplomacy in recent days appeared to suggest a new push towards halting hostilities. And in the world of sports, the Board of Nigerian Football Federation on Monday approved the recommendation of its Technical and Development Committee to appoint former ace winger Finidi George as head coach of the senior men national football team, the Super Eagles. George, who spent 20 months as assistant to Jose Santos Peseiro before the Portuguese voluntarily left the post following the accomplishment of Africa Cup of Nations runner-up position at Côte d'Ivoire 2023, took charge of the squad in interim capacity during 2 friendly matches in Morocco last month. His squad edged Ghana 2-1, ending an 18-year winless streak against the Black Stars, but then lost 0-2 to Mali in the second game. George, a member of the so-styled golden generation that won the 1994 Africa Cup of Nations tournament in Tunisia and emerged the second most entertaining team in Nigeria's debut at the FIFA World Cup finals in USA the same year, won 62 caps for Nigeria, including featuring at the 1994 and 1998 FIFA World Cup finals. He also won gold, silver and bronze medals from the 1992, 1994, 2000 and 2002 AFCON tournaments. George's immediate task will be to guide the Super Eagles to victory in two 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying matches against South Africa and Benin Republic in Uyo and Abidjan, respectively, in a little over 5 weeks. The matches are must-win encounters with the Super Eagles lagging behind in the third place in Group C of the African campaign behind Rwanda and South Africa. Now with that, we've come to the end of News Updates on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms for more news and documentaries. I am Lilian Ogazi. Thanks for listening and bye for now.